Hi everyone, and welcome to this Apaf F-16 training demonstration. In this video, we'll cover CS1 Part 2 and 3, which are taxi and takeoff in the F-16. Alright, we've started up our aircraft and we're ready to take it into the air. First, we need to know how to get to the runway. By pressing our F10 button, we can see a map of our region. I like to change the view to the satellite view, just because it's a little easier on the eyes. Zoom out, we can see our entire region and everything that's going on. We click this little arrow, it'll center it on us, zoom in, and we'll be able to see that we're currently at Almanad Air Force Base. In a later video, we'll cover airfield navigation and communications. But for this video, we just need to know that runway 09 is our active. So this means we need to come out of our bunker, make a left, make another left, and make a right to get to our runway. By pressing our nose wheel steering button, we get an indicator. This indicates that controls of our front gear are controlled by our rudder inputs. Once we're ready to move, we can hit our taxi light to indicate to any other aircraft around that we are in motion. My aircraft currently has nothing attached, so it's very light and it's going to move very quickly. If you are strapped up with lots of munitions, you'll find that you'll probably have to add a pretty good spike of throttle power to get the aircraft into motion. Right now, I'm going to throttle up, and we'll see the aircraft start to move forward. In the F-16, the front gear is very close to being directly under the pilot. So if we just try to put ourselves physically over the taxi lines, we'll generally make pretty clean turns. I find that the F-16 finds its most comfortable speed around 1,700, 1,800 pounds per hour on the fuel flow. Now, as you come up to turns, you're going to want to brake evenly. Because the F-16 is very fast and very light, very easy to flip over. We just want to take turns slow and controlled. Remember, it's not a race as we're on the runway. We're all on the same team, trying to just get there, get back. Taxiing in any aircraft is all about just keeping the aircraft under control. We don't get a true speed indication while we're on the ground. This is because not enough air is flowing into the aircraft's pitot tube. If you start getting a speed indicator, you're already going way too fast. Remember, anytime you're about to cross a runway or take a runway, you're going to want to hold short. Allow yourself time to look left, look right. Make sure that no aircraft are on approach to the runway. Just because the ATC cleared you onto the runway doesn't mean that everyone in the airspace is where they're supposed to be. With us looking visually clear, I'm going to go ahead and take runway 9. Alright, we've made it onto the runway, and we're ready to take off. Things are going to happen very quickly once we start to take off, so let's talk about what's going to happen. First thing we're going to do is take one last look at all of our switches and sensors, make sure everything is configured the way we want it before we get up into the air. We'll look back and push our controls to a full deflection and make sure that our control surface is working. Once we're sure we're ready, we'll go ahead and apply wheel brakes, and we'll push our RPM up to 90%. Once we've seen that there's no warning or caution lights, we will release our wheel brakes, and we'll let the forward motion start to happen. As we begin rolling forward, we'll push our throttle up into afterburner. If you're fully loaded, you'll probably want full afterburner. Me being in a lighter jet, I'll just be doing first stage afterburner. Again, keeping small rudder inputs, we're going to try to keep our jet on the center line as we travel up the runway. Once our jet hits 100 knots, we're going to deactivate our nose wheel steering and let the physical rudder start taking control of our yaw. Now keep in mind, when control transfers from your gear to the rudder, sometimes you might have to kick your rudder pedals a little bit hard to make sure that you stay on the center line. As we hit about 170 to 180 knots, we'll start applying aft stick until our nose comes off the ground and we begin to take flight. As we come off the ground, we're going to want to make sure to get our gear handle up as quickly as possible, just because the F-16 is fast and it will get away from you, and the gear is very easy to overspeed in this jet. So, all of that said, we're ready. Let's get to it. Switches all look good. Controls are working as intended. Wheel brakes down. And we'll throttle up to 90%. No caution lights. Release our wheel brakes. And we'll push up into our afterburner. .100 knots, nose wheel steering off. 170, aft stick. And we're up in the air just like that. Put our gear up. And we are in flight. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next one.